Microphone just comes out right when you go loud. Hi, I'm Mac McCarthy, and I help people with their breakups. What progress have you made since your breakup? Good question. And I'd like you to put it in the comments below if you watch this video after, if you're watching it during the live stream, because I think it's a significant thing to share with other people going through a breakup. So, David Jeffers on deck, number one. I do have a door prize for you, but I can't tell you what it is. Can G Money? Oh, we got an all-star group here. First team. First ballot. Can you recap your breakups and look back at the progress? What have I seen from past clients? Oh, Jesse? We got an all-male team today. Right on. Jesse, Ojani, G Money, DJ, also known as David Jeffers, New Jersey's finest. So, what progress have you guys made since past breakup? Because not all of you have been in breakups, and I'm going to recap some of the progress I've made in my own life after a breakup. When I usually circle back and answer these questions for myself, I'll talk about clients I've had that come back and had success stories or whatnot. Okay. So if you like this one, throw me a like. It looks like we already have 8 on deck. If you like the idea that I've been doing a schedule, if you like this time, let me know. Like I said, I'm making a commitment to do it every day, even at 2 different time zones. So on IG, Coach Mac McCarthy, I am posting the schedule on. I know a lot of people liked when Jessica came on. We kind of have a conversation, more or less, conversation format more than a serious interview, and talk some things out. I went back and watched the live stream a little bit, and honestly, I don't always watch the live streams. I'd say 90% of the time I don't. I just do them and I ship them. And so the reviews have been good, and you've enjoyed the interaction. I noticed that I cut her off quite a bit. I got to watch that. She's talking, and I'm used to being the person that holds the mic, so to say. But I thought it was good. It was spirited. So thanks for that comment, David. I think it's great to have someone that's a female that's in her early 30s that has a viewpoint. I'd like to get some people from different backgrounds, different things, and that's what I'm going to do with the future of the podcast and whatnot. I'm working on putting together a professional sound room, all that other stuff that's good and grand and good. It's in the works, and we're going to make some real progress moving forward as we already are. So let's get into it as I mumble on. Are you publishing a book anytime soon? Listen, I've got the book in my head. I've worked on it. I just got to sit down and and actually do it. And it'll probably take me like 2 weeks. But I have the chapters and everything out. The number one thing I really enjoy is live streams. We'll do no podcasts and whatnot. So that's where I'm really going with things. But the book is on deck for sure. It's clear you're getting on the next level with this stuff, Matt. Good for you. Thanks. I take that as a compliment from you, G Money, because you've been supporting my channel and the live streams for a long time, and I respect your opinion. That's not me just being nice. Like I said, I think getting a few females on, getting some different perspectives has been good. So what progress have you made since your breakup? I'm going to let that question float for a moment. I'm going to unpack it a little bit. Can you recap your breakups and look back at the progress? So we got about 8 on deck. Let's just think about that for a moment, because all of you, whoa, what's up, Sean Cheeto? How you doing, buddy? You're going to have to let me know what happened with the website. That's a question I have about the email. He just did a private video response and said he had problems with the website. I got to get some feedback on that. You don't have to tell me in the live stream, but maybe in a email, because I got to get that on deck too. So, what's really interesting about changes, not just in breakups. It's like I changed our website. I got someone new that's handling it. And I'm excited about the concept of letting other people do breakup coaching under the umbrella of writemac.com, and under the umbrella of Reading Your Story, and under the umbrella of I'm not a fucking PhD. I don't have like 18,000 designations of like, I went to Claude's coaching school. I've got, 200 hours here. It's like, what, are you a good listener? Are you good with people? Have you had a few relationships? Can you unpack a story with someone? Those are the kind of coaches I want to hang their hat at the rightmac.com. So the funny thing about that is, though, I had to break up with my old website, which I thought was serviceable. It was good. It was a little bit cheesy, which all this shit kind of is. I remember when I had to take some pictures with a friend, and you're doing fucking headshots and all this stuff. I mean, it took me a long time to even get into Instagram, but the new website, the concept's good, and right now we're going through a little bit of the growing pains because it's new, just like a breakup's new, just like being single's new. So, can you recap your breakups and look back at the progress? I'm going to do that right now with you. We got 9 on deck, 3 likes. I appreciate you all. And looking back, my first breakup, which, at the time I wasn't that broken up over. I mean, talked about this before. I was about 19, 20 years old. And it was like the first significant, like my girlfriend, whatnot. And I knew she wasn't going to be the final girlfriend I ever had. I had feelings for her. We had a good relationship. I pried my way out of the relationship. I broke up with her, but we kept seeing each other, which was great to me until she started seeing other people, which I was doing also. And I remember, though, I hit a point where I just assumed that after the breakup, I could continue having my cake and eat it too. And she even said, "You're not going to be able to have your cake and eat it too." And here's the crazy thing: have you guys ever had this happen? You break up, and this could go both ways. You break up and you continue to see each other, but some of the issues that you had aren't going to go away, but you still love each other, you care about each other, and you still, number one, fourth and foremost, you still have attraction for each other. This is the only way this works, like this, continuing to see each other. And you have some of the greatest intimacy you had in the last couple of years as a couple, because all of a sudden there's some tension, there's some competition anxiety involved, and the intimacy is fucking really good. And so you broke up, and then you haven't seen each other for 4 or 5 days. Feelings are high. You hook up, and you're like, damn, where was that the last fucking year? It's been good. It's been okay, but it hasn't been like that, right? And so I think that is a situation where someone that got broken up with was like, oh, I'm really going to put on a show now. And so that was kind of a situation with me and her. And I was thinking, this is really nice. And I'm a free agent. And I was seeing someone else at the time, starting to date someone else. And I was 19, 20 years old. I wanted to be free. And looking back, I created kind of a situation and a reason to break up where I could be free. But then when it worked out where we were just kind of seeing each other for a month, we were in this gray. I was like, this is fucking great. Little did I know that she had the same opportunity as me to hook up with other people. Well, anyways, when I found out she started seeing someone else, it smacked me in the mouth, smacked me in the face. It hurt. And I didn't see it coming because I knew the girl liked me a lot, and I liked her a lot too, but I just didn't see it coming. And then when it hit me, I was like, one thing that I've always had in my life, breakups, whatnot, and someone will say, oh, you're an expert, you're this. Nah, I'm just a guy that's had a few relationships. I'm 39, so I've got 20 years of relationships, serious relationships or whatever. I don't count high school really. But you get in that situation, you're like, now you're seeing someone else. Now I know you're sleeping with someone else. Oh yeah, he called me. I was done. I was hurt. I was done. I wasn't like, oh, we're going to continue to see each other. It was I think it did it for me when I called her up one night and I was at some friend's house. I'm like, can you give me a ride? Can you pick me up? She's like, yeah, I'll pick you up. And she had some other dude's car. I was like, damn. And she was like, someone might think that's cool. Oh, she still likes you. And I was like, yeah, just drop me off at home. She had some other dude's car. I was like, yeah, this is done. This is done. Because this is the kind of shit that creates fights, creates animal. I was like, yeah, no. But I remember I was hurt by it. I was seeing a new girl that was really cool, actually. She was really cool. I mean, she was in a lot of ways more the type of woman I wanted, right? But the fact that I had just gotten out of a relationship, if this makes sense to anyone, I couldn't appreciate it because I was still hung up on the girl in the past and our intimacy and some of the things we had going. And I wasn't hung up like in a, like a crying at the windowsill with the rain coming down. It wasn't like that. It wasn't some fucking R&B song. It was like, it was just one of those things. It was like, damn, I didn't know it was going to end that way. I wanted my cake and eat it too. And so the new girl I was seeing, I just couldn't appreciate it on that level. So I made a knee-jerk reaction, and this was my progress. So this is kind of funny. I would never say this before, but looking back and unpacking this right now, it's one of the biggest reasons I moved to San Diego. So I was living in the Bay Area. I grew up in the Bay Area, just 20 minutes outside San Francisco. I had an okay job at junior college. I was still living at home. Pops was charging me rent for my room, which people are like, your dad charged you rent for your room? Yes. And I remember just going like, I just made the job I worked at, you could transfer. So that was favorable. And I had a friend that lived in San Diego, and I didn't even know San Diego. I went there once in the summer, and it was cool. It wasn't even that great because in the summer, no one's there. And I said, fuck it. I was like, you know what? If I'm going to go somewhere where there's more women, Southern California is the beach. And I just made this, I'm going to go down there. I transferred work. And then I remember when I was about to do it, I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Have you ever done that? You made a decision. I'm sure some of you, because there's some of the people that come on here that have been in the military. And I had a friend do this when he enlisted. I think it was even the National Guard. It wasn't even as intense as some other people that I have as clients. And some of the live stream were like, oh, it's me. There's multiple people that I know in the live stream that have been in the military. I can't imagine when you make that decision, what goes through your mind, like, oh shit, I can't, my friend backed out. I just thinking about when I was going to move, I was like, fuck, do I really want to do this? You know what I mean? Like, because I wasn't running away from anything. I was seeking out new experience, new challenge, and it was propelled by the breakup. It wasn't bitterness. It wasn't bitterness. It wasn't anger. It wasn't hurt. It was like, you know what? I need to change. I can't live at home forever. My great grandmother that lived with us, God bless her, Madeline, 94 years old, was like crying when I was leaving. And I did it. And a big part of the reason I did it was the breakup. Like I said, it wasn't like out of bitterness. It was just like fresh start. I'm going all in. And I remember like, I'm single right now. I want to see what it's like to hook up with some more women. And I thought San Diego would be a much better trout pond. And I was correct. So that was my progress, was actually moving. And moving, to be full disclosure, moving to San Diego didn't just open up the floodgates to meet new women and all that other stuff. It just helped me fucking grow the fuck up at 19 years old, 20 years old. Because when you grow up, when you go out on your own, you get your own place, you start paying your own bills, you buy your own toilet paper and toothpaste. You know, like, you don't got mom, like, oh, I got dinner on the table, you know what I mean? Things like that. And everyone's life at home is different, right? Some people are like, I didn't have it that way. Whatever. You get out on your own, you start paying rent, you live in your own apartment, you're going to grow up quick. You got different responsibilities. You treat your money differently. And so that was my fucking progress. And it was propelled by that breakup. And the breakup was my choice. But the feeling afterwards was like, damn, I got to get out of this comfort zone. And then looking back right now, one of the reasons that I broke up was living in the area I lived in. Everyone knows everyone, right? You grew up in a city or a town. We grew up in a suburb of like 90,000, 100,000 people. And everyone's like, knows your girl, knows, oh yeah, she used to hook up with so-and-so. And then you have these insecurities. Oh yeah, I saw her over here. That shit ate me up a little bit at the time. Would it do that now? No. And I just realized I'm not going to live in the same town forever. Fuck that. So that was my progress on my first breakup. And I didn't have sad nights. I didn't beg for her back. It wasn't one of those breakups where I was like going through it or something like that. I was pretty crystal clear on like what had happened and why. And I did miss her for, on and off, but I pivoted out of that relationship quite quickly and quite well. And the progress I made, like I said, San Diego, if you've never been there and you guys live in the States or you don't live in the States, is a beautiful place to live. I believe it still is. And so no regrets on that. I lived there for almost 4 years, about 3.5 years. Met some really good people. Let me check in with the folks on the live stream today. David Jeffers, always a pleasure. Great live stream, by the way, about shit testing. Wish I didn't miss it. Different time zones, all good in the hood. Alpha male team, right on, Jesse. How you been? I'm at work now. Usually I'm at bed during these streams. LOL. Okay. Well, I'm doing different times to help out different people that like my live stream. Are you publishing a book anytime soon? It's in the works. It's clear you're getting on the next level. Thanks, G Money. Leandra, always a pleasure, hon. Chanchito, always a pleasure, bud. So you're saying if I want hot, sexy time, I should break up with my girl? It doesn't always work that way. I'm saying that if you guys still have, if you still are attracted to each other, and you break up, and here's the thing, it depends on what you break up over, right? But if you still have like someone wants to still work on it, it definitely creates a lot of competition anxiety, and it brings out the best in some. No one else is allowed to play with your toy, even if you don't want to play with it anymore. Isn't that so true? I mean, it's so funny because kids are like that, right? It's like, oh, I haven't paid with my fucking toy truck in 15 years, and someone comes over. I even had it. I remember when I moved away, and I had a GT Interceptor. I don't know how old you guys are, but that's like a BMX bike, and it was like $250 brand new, which is not that much money in this day and age. And I thought that was like the fucking coolest thing I ever had. I had that when I was in fifth or sixth grade for like 3 years. Just a beautiful bike to me. And it was nostalgic. And I remember my mom gave it away to some kid that was like her hairdresser friend. And I was pissed. I hadn't rode that bike in 10 years. Then I found out I ran into the kid because he was like a family friend. And he was like, oh, yeah, I sold that. Oh, I was so pissed. And then I looked up GT Interceptors. You can find them in mint condition for like $400 or $500. It's on my list. That's a kick in the nuts. We talking about you know what? It wasn't a kick in the nuts because she still picked me up, right? You know what I mean? She still picked me up. I mean, she was a player or a playess. Good morning. Good morning, Philip. How you doing? I saw your email. I think you should just go for it and move forward. How did your job interview go? G Money, I just mentioned you a few days ago. She did. In a good way. I wonder where you've been. Hope you're well. Mac, is that a beer? Well, gentleman never tells. Usually exhausted by the time the lives come and go so late. I'm good, though. All right. Yeah, I like this slot because it's morning for me. I'm a morning person, so that's why I don't usually do evenings. But I told myself, if I put it on a schedule, I'll commit. I might be late some days because of traffic or something like that, but I'll commit. I'll make it. It's like in the past when you don't have a schedule, you just kind of like, oh, I feel like doing one. I'm doing schedules now. So there will be staggered times, and I'll monitor where more people are coming and maybe make it a regular. Facts, G Money. When you physically move, it's a great distraction from everything. Oh man, I mean, it's just highly underrated. If you want to change your life, and not necessarily a good way. I mean, every time I've moved in my life, it's not like you just slide right in and everything goes right. You know, like you got to meet new people. I mean, what I will say is you do eventually, if you move a few times, you do eventually find a place where you're like, damn, now this is fucking nice. Like I'll go back and visit home where I grew up and stuff. When I say my home and all this shit, people are like lining up to share bedrooms and shit to live there because the pay's so high. But to me, living in where I live, not even a fucking contest, dude. So I live in Ohio for the last 3 days. The sky has been completely hazy from the wildfires out west. In Ohio? What? I mean, I know my parents have been saying that from California. I've never heard that. This time frame is great. Well, I'm glad it works for you, Philip. Living in shared housing at the age of 17 was definitely a time to grow. Life gets real. I agree, man. Dude, like I said, I remember the number one thing when I first moved out was like, I got to buy cleaning products for the toilet. I got to buy sponges for the for, to like clean dishes and shit. Like you don't even think about that when you live at your parents' house or you live with a grandma or grandpa. Some people live with their auntie or their uncle. It's like a lot of times your auntie or your uncle or your whoever takes care of the house, they're not like, hey, can you throw in on some sponges? Can you throw in on some toilet cleaner? Then you like you get your own place. Like I gotta spend money on this shit. I gotta look for pricing fucking toilet bowl cleaner. Depending if I get my state police job, I'll move by the beach in Jersey or relatively close. Cool, man. I've been to Wildwood once. I know that sounds random as hell. I went to go visit my aunt in PA, Pennsylvania, and we went to Wildwood. That's cool, DJ. Hope you get it, man. You know what? I hope you get it too, man. That's like a hot topic now. I mean, this is random. I'm not going to get into this, but for you to want to be a cop right now is fucking absolutely amazing. Amazing. Thanks to my breakup, I have found myself. I have found my purpose, regardless of the location I'm currently. I still get the emotional roller coaster, but personally, I feel great, and I know the future is fire. That's outstanding. That's the kind of shit I like to hear. I mean, sometimes you gotta burn the ships to take the island. Sometimes you gotta put yourself on the island to realize you can survive. It's like you watch that movie Castaway with Tom Hanks or something. Maybe some of the shit's far fetched, but the reality is human beings adapt. You have to put yourself in situations that are adaptable. Kazik Nath, X in a rebound. I'm in no contact. If your ex is in a new relationship, I won't even be monitoring shit. Dust, done, curtains. She's posting pictures of him on social network, but I'm staying strong in my no contact. I'll be honest with you, staying strong doesn't include you checking out photos of your girl with a new guy. The idea that it's a rebound, that just tells me that you've put a label, and I'm not being a dick, I'm just telling you the truth. That just tells me you put a label. Like, I've had an ex like end up with someone new. Like I said, this girlfriend, this first girlfriend I was talking about earlier, ends up with someone new. I wasn't like, oh, she's in a rebound. I was like, she's with someone new, I'm done. Doesn't mean it didn't hurt. It just means I'm not going to scrap out. Don't play games with a breakup. I've seen women play with their marriages and their husbands say, fuck it, move on, and they're left miserable. Don't play games with a breakup. What do you mean by that? Can you elaborate what you mean? I've seen women play with their marriages. What do you mean by play with their marriage? I take her off social media. Yeah, exactly. Take social media break. That kind of stuff will mess with your head. The idea, this is, fuck, man. How old are you? Kaushik, if I said that correct. Nath, you wouldn't even watch her on social media. Don't stalk her on social media. No contact. Cut all the way off. I mean, what happens is someone goes, oh, I'd block her. Then she's going to get angry at me. Oh, if I block her, then it shows I'm weak. No. Finally over my ex after about 9 long months. J2 to the C. J2 to the C. How long were you together? What went on? Wow, Philip. Mr. Philip got a new job. Congratulations. Where's the party poppers? Good man, Philip. I'm fucking happy for you. Sun shines on a dog's ass, as my father once said. Right? It's so interesting in life that you're in a breakup right now, Philip. You're going through some different things. The fact that you could fucking man up, go out for a fucking interview for a new job and fucking land it. Good for you, dude. Your Insta stuff is awesome, Mac. Makes me want to go to visit Phuket. Looks like a postcard. I just want to fish all the time. Hey, dude, and that's real stuff. Like, it was one of those things before I was kind of like, you guys really want to see this stuff? Like I'm trying to brag or something. But those are real photos. Those aren't like Photoshop. Gosh, block her and take social media break. Facebook, Instagram, delete it off your phone for a month or two. It's not worth it. That's what, Jesse, that's what I always say. I say, just go on a social media fast. Don't make it about your ex. Make it just that if you don't need social media for your job or something like that, then just go like, I'm just going to be off the fucking grid for a month. It might even do your mental health some good. It means a lot, Mac. Thanks, David Jefford. Well, I'm just being honest. I think it's a tough time to make that decision. And the fact that you're still really willing to commit to that, that's commendable, bro. That's commendable because you'd be a good person. I believe you'd be a good cop. Commitment can come with expectations. Don't drop the commitment, just the expectations. Commitment can come with expectations. Don't drop the commitment, just the expectations. I do, Leandra, I respect your opinion. I do think, though, what do you mean? Like in regards to like any relationship? It's a little bit broad. I do think that there should be some expectations in a relationship. Going on a date, I think people have too high of expectations. I think going on a date should just be out, let's just have fun and be on a search and discovery mission rather than a search and destroy. G Money. Agreed. I will be booking for early next week again. Now I have to give notice at my job. Well, congratulations, Philip. I'm really happy for you, dude. We were together for a year. The usual, we broke up because I was weak and needy. Well, fuck, that's not the usual, dude. Took you 9 months after a year. That's quite long, but I'll tell you what, this is gonna, if you feel like you were weak and needy, you needed to break up. The only way a woman stays with you if you're weak and needy is to create a doormat or because she has pity for weak individuals. What have I seen from past clients? So what progress have you made since your breakup? One of the clients I had from about, it's like I'm interviewing myself. One of the clients I've had, it was like 3 years ago when I first started. This guy was going through it, man. We did multiple coaching sessions. He was pissed. He couldn't get it off his mind. He was pissed. He was angry and he was ego struck. And he just needed to talk about it repeatedly. Like he was really pissed. He was hung up on it. But I think what part of it was he had been in like a 14-year relationship prior to that was stale and mediocre. I mean, for a few years prior, he got out of that one. And I think within a year, he got into this new one and was just really jazzed. I mean, he was really excited. And he thought this girl was like so great, so wonderful. Probably not something he told me, but probably in comparison to his past girl, it was exciting. It was new. And he thought it was rose petals and wine glasses. And it was one of these cases where he thought they were here. And the girl just dropped basically out of nowhere, just like, I can't do this. I'm just not that interested in you. And it just shocked the hell out of him, took the winds out of his sails. And he was pissed because he had confidence. He was a confident individual. He was surprised. He was pretty well off money-wise. He was, I don't know if he's a personal trainer or not, but he was a gym rat, all these other things. And it took him a while, but he's giving me credit for just being there for him and talking to him. And now he's going to get married. He just sent me about 3 months ago that he's marrying this woman. He actually sent me the video of the engagement and whatnot. And I'll be honest, I didn't do a whole lot. It's not like I was like, hey man, do this and then do that and then do this. And then when she does this, do that. 'Cause sometimes people come to me like, it's like, no, let's unpack this together. Some of this shit, there's no game plan for it. Some of it got a few different options, make a decision with good intentions and honesty, and then roll with it. And he had some interactions, and the thing that was hard for him is that they had a close friend that they shared. And so the close friend kind of got, gave him details about what she was doing and whatnot. But that was a success story. And his progress in that situation was realizing, the woman had looked good on the surface, but there were some issues with her. All of her past boyfriends were nothing like him. And they weren't necessarily good guys, but I think her playbook on what a guy should be was directly opposite of him. Let's go back to this. Ground zero does something for you. Have you ever thought about this? I mean, I've talked about this before. Every time I've been fired from a job, I usually get a better job. Have you ever been flat broke? I mean, flat broke. I think it's worse when you're below water, when you're just hardcore in debt, where you just get to a point. And what's your other choice? It's like, I need to start making some fucking money, right? If you look at a lot of people that are highly successful and make a lot of money, there's something happened when they were young where they lost a parent, they were broke, and they're constantly trying to make up for that shit. And so ground zero does something for you, right? A lot of people that are into lifting weights and whatnot, they were teased when they were young. They were skinny. They felt like they weren't good looking. Things like that. Ground zero does something for you. What motivates you to not want to be at that point again? Going all in. You break up, you come to the realization, you're like, damn, you accept it, it hurts, you fucking sleep in the shit for a little while, and then you kind of go, you know what? I'm not going to be a victim. I'm going all in on me. I'm going all in on my future. I'm going all in on this breakup. Where to improve? This is a really good question. It's called what I call the mirror in the mirror. That's the most important person. You really got to, for me, some people don't like this. For me, I took a lot of isolated trips. I'm a social person. I had to get isolated because I was around people that would be asking about the breakup. They want to go out and party or do something. I was like, I just got to get isolation. I just need to be alone. That's one of the, going for a run, going to the beach by myself. Runs and walks were big for me, solo. The anti-progress moves. Now, this is an interesting topic to talk about. What impedes progress? Bad self-talk, number one. The idea that you're desperate and you can't live without someone, that really impedes progress. Social media stalking is probably public enemy number one on progress. Not accepting someone's reasons for a breakup will not make you progressive. And if you're hung up on something because you're confused or you're unclear, call me up. I'm a breakup coach. That's what I help people with, the clarity of it. What are you not seeing, or where is your perception and interpretation of the events stuck? I can help you with that part. We were together for a year as usual. Jose Federico, DY. Why would you put DY at the end? I never contacted my ex since she broke up with me, but she did a lot of weird things, changing her Facebook profile on our anniversary, and she unfriended me exactly 1 year after our breakup. What it means? Who cares, dude? 1 year later, you're moving on, you're moving forward, you're doing other things. The fact that you know about that isn't healthy, Jose Federico. Seriously. What happened before Facebook? What if you didn't have Facebook and you didn't have knowledge of that? Would you even care? People ask me those kinds of things. What does it mean? I'm not really sure. I will tell you this. It means that you're still following someone on Facebook or social media, taking notes on them from a distance, and then wondering without certainty. You're creating cliffhangers, and psychology calls it open loops. It's what we use in soap operas. So you ever watch a soap opera? Someone's like, "Oh, I don't watch soap. I don't watch them." But when I was a kid, my grandma used to watch All My Children. I remember I had a babysitter that watched. What was the other one? General Hospital. I mean, even as a kid, you'd watch these and you go, "Oh my God, it's fucking cliffhangers everywhere." They go scene from scene, and they just open loops. And then you're like, "Oh, what's going to happen with this guy? What's going to happen with this guy? What's going to happen with this woman?" And what you do when you deal with social media, you create these open loops, and your brain wants to close them. Your brain wants to close them. The only way you're going to close them, Jose Federico, is call her up and be like, "Hey, what happened on Facebook?" And she still might not tell you the truth. And you're still in your head like, "I couldn't tell her I was looking at that." So it's also deep down a little shame. Answer the question, fuck what it means. It means that you're still following someone or keeping track of what they're doing a year later after your breakup. That means you have to ask yourself this: 1 time, 2 times, where's my power in this situation if I feel shitty about this? You know what your power is? Done with Facebook for a month. Block her. I don't even, and I don't even know why I was able to do this in my own breakup, because I think I wasn't exposed to breakup at a young age, or Facebook and all these things at a young age. I just remember I'm like, I don't even want to see her or friends on Facebook at all. Done. I saw a couple things come up. I'm like, done. Don't even want to see it. Don't even want to, because I knew it was harmful. Yeah, I definitely needed the breakup. I learned a lot about myself. Well, I'm happy to share that. Yeah, she definitely stayed with me out of pity. That's when you need a breakup, dude. A lot of times a breakup has to happen, dude. And that's really mature of you to even share that. So what have you done, J to the C, to create someone that's a stronger individual that takes more accountability? May I ask how old you are, J to the C, that you were needy and out of pity? That's some real honesty there. I respect that. Being able to be honest with the situation. Probably one of the best books you can read if you've had trouble with that would be No More Mr. Nice Guy, Dr. Robert Glover. BMXs are amazable. The tricks are cool. Thanks. The message was very hard to send, but I had to do it. Well, people ask me all the time, oh, should I send a birthday card? Should I send a letter? Should I send this? I mean, I don't have a problem if you want to send what I would call like a declaration of acceptance. Don't, if you've already said sorry, or I'm not talking to you, Philip, but in other words, you're just accepting the breakup and you're moving forward and you're moving on. And then someone, well, what if they text me again? Well, deal with that on your own. I'm not going to give you a fucking playbook for every move and every time they do something. You got to ask yourself what you're willing to accept and what you're not willing to accept. And when someone breaks up with you and the terms change, they're not going to change again anytime soon, if that makes sense. And so you're dealing with a new set of cards in the game. And you're like, oh, well, I don't like these cards. Well, you ain't going to get a new deal. I can definitely say since a year from my breakup, I've come a long way. Definitely. Yeah, you have, Jesse. Fuck yeah, you have. You got to stop these long distance relationships, though. Being in denial about a situation impedes progress. That's a big one. Yeah, like I said, that's the opposite of acceptance. And I think a lot of times people will come to me, and that's what's great about writing your story. I'm like, all right, right here, you said she said this. Yeah. I'm like, do you believe her? Well, yeah, she's a truth. Well, so that's why she broke up with you. You're saying, I don't understand this. Hope I worded it correct. All in on Phil. Fuck if you worded it or didn't word it or spelled a word wrong. It doesn't fucking matter. What you wrote is what you wrote, is what you felt. You were being honest. And I think, if I'm correct, the number one thing, Philip, don't try to be someone you're not. Be Philip Carlson. You're a good dude, right? You know what I mean? You don't need to change who you are. I don't think you're upset with yourself as an individual. Right now, you're a little puzzled because you're like, damn, we had a really good thing and I've been a good boyfriend. If that's the case, it's like, c'est la vie. Good luck finding another one like me. G Money, I appreciate that. My ex's father just died last Monday. Should I contact her to give my condolences? Okay, that's a good question. Bottom line, if you were close to her father, or if I had an ex and one of their parents died, regardless of my feelings, if I send a condolence, you just make sure when you send condolences, it's just for that reason. It doesn't mean you're going to get a backdoor shot at her. It doesn't mean that she's going to change her mind about the breakup. You do that because you have some feelings for someone losing their parent. That's it. That's that. If you do that, it's not like, oh, I sent her condolences about her father and now she doesn't want to go out with me. What's this? Or can't believe because at that time in her life, it's very possible she might just go, thank you. I appreciate that. Can you accept any reaction from her? Because sending condolences because someone's parent died doesn't mean you get anything back. Does that make sense? So if you do it with the intention of just for the condolences, nothing extra. Jesse says, no, leave it. It just depends. Now, if you still have feelings for her and you're going to be sensitive to the way she reacts to your condolences, then don't send it. I had a client do this. He was another guy, good guy. Most of my clients are. I don't think I've had too many bad people, to be honest. I'm trying to look back. There was one person that was kind of a dark character, and I thought to myself, there was just something dark about the dude. He hadn't done anything really bad, but he wasn't. He needed to figure some things out. That's for damn sure. Going back to this, Jesse says no. I would say if you feel like you guys are in a sensitive place, in your interactions, then don't. But if you want to, I don't know if you're religious or not, just say a prayer for her dad and wish her well from far. That's actually doable as a human being. But I was going to say, a client of mine said, I know this isn't compared to a dad, but his ex-girlfriend's family dog, who he knew was very close to the family, he liked the dog. He was like, I'm thinking about reaching out to her, this, that, and the other. And I told him the same exact thing. Just do it with the intention for that reason. He goes, you know what? I decided not to do it. But he goes, I said a prayer at church for her and I feel good about that. And I was like, good for you. That's a great alternative. Creating open loops on a person is not good, is not good doing it to yourself. It's torture to your own self. It really is, because the human mind doesn't like uncertainties. And when you break up, unless you call them up, you still don't have certainty. I disagree, David. I don't think it would hurt, Jose, but don't expect anything from it. I would just say my condolences and leave it at that. I agree with David. Jesse, I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem. That's it in Jesse and Dave. Jesse, by not Jesse, by not. So it's like, what is that movie? Breaking Bad. Jesse. Um, if you don't send it, I don't have a problem either. I don't have a problem with it either. I don't think there's a one size fits all for that. I think you have to individually size that up for yourself. And just what David said, if you do, you just do it. You don't do it with any expectations. Hi, Mac. Is there a difference between being needy and needs not being met? Amandeep Singh. Yes. I would say yes. That's why they're two different terms. What's up, Azam? Been looking for you in the daylight with a flashlight. Put you on a milk carton, bud. How are you? Yeah, I mean, what I would say, Amandeep, I would need to know your story to unpack which was which. Here's the thing, though. If you're being needy because your needs aren't being met, that doesn't excuse being needy. How's that for an answer? If you're like, oh, I haven't been getting action for 1 month, and I keep telling her, like, why won't you sleep with me? Why won't you sleep with me? Because you're being unattractive, because I'm interested in someone else. So if your needs aren't being met and you're being needy about that, maybe that's counterintuitive. You somehow think by being needy, your needs will be met. That's actually counterintuitive. Does that make sense? Hello, David. It's been good. How are you? Hope that's not cold, but it's not cold at all, Jesse. Pretty much the same, man. I already gave my condolences to her mother. If it was me, if it was me and I had an ex from my past and I found out their father had passed away, most likely I would send condolences. It would probably be in a message. It wouldn't be like calling them up, and I wouldn't expect anything back. What it mean if my ex says sorry for everything that I've done to you when I'm in no contact? I need to know your story. Here we go. Just write your story into writemac.com. I have no idea. I mean, what does it mean? They hate you. How old are you? What a 4666 Yuda Yakumar. How old are you? We got 11 on deck, 5 likes. Let's get back to the topic for a moment. 43 minutes in. Are you still bitter? This is a really good question. You're not going to make progress if you're still bitter. And what are you bitter about? Looking back, I was bitter at the breakup that I was in. I was bitter for a little bit, and I realized that I was bitter because she was much happier than I was, but we were looking at the world from a different place. And it wasn't that it was almost like a jealousy bitter, like she was in a better place with her career, with her friends, with a lot of different things. And the reality was, looking back, that wasn't her fault. Did progress help you heal? Progress will always help you heal. Always, always, always. That's my role no used for classes, and I'm 20 years old. Wow, that's a interesting tag name there. So going back to, I said I would unpack a couple situations when I started to make progress out of a breakup, and the bad breakup that I had at the time, you know, a long time ago. When I started to make progress right away, I was hurting, I was upset, I was bitter, but immediately jumped into books on relationships. I reinvested in learning about attraction. I reacquainted myself with some old family members and friends that helped me out, that I got closer with. So, and these weren't friends that like we had issues in the past, or it's just when you're in a full time relationship, sometimes you just don't hang out with some buddies as much as you do, or some family members. And so I immediately, and they were receptive. They were like, "We've been in breakups." That was progress. Um, I quit smoking herb, which was something I like to do immediately, because it just didn't make me feel better when I was broken up, and that was an improvement as far as clear thinking. Uh, I started jogging regularly, which I was already in pretty good shape. I wasn't out of shape or anything like that. What else? I really dove into uh, following up with always wanting to be a teacher. So I started looking into that. I made progress, but here's the crazy part. I was still hurting. And here's the part you're like, whoa, as I make progress, I hope my ex sees this. I mean, I had a little bit of that, but I'll tell you this, when I came out of the other side of that tunnel, if I had to get one tattoo at 39 years old, it would be no regrets. You don't get what you deserve in life, you get what you negotiate. Great point, dude. Is that Corey Wayne? Write the story. Mac has helped me a lot and gave me clarity. I scored the biggest move in my career yesterday. Fuck yeah, Philip. I'm really happy for you, dude. Man, I remember when I was in real estate out of this breakup, and I was facing a deal. I would have had like, it was like a 32 grand commission. And this is like 10 years ago. Uh and we had I don't want to go through all the contracts and things but it was like 1 month out of my breakup. And I remember thinking, like, we only had one more day to remove a contingency, all this shit. I'm gonna get 30 grand. And I mean, as a real estate agent, I had other paydays. I didn't have one that big yet, but I had other nice ones of 20 plus, 15, 8, like stuff like that. I wasn't making like millions of dollars, but I was doing okay. And I couldn't even enjoy it. I remember, and then the deal fell apart, and I was like, "Oh, here we go. The life sucks," kind of thing. When it rains, it pours. So, Flip, I'm just telling you right now, the fact that you got a win like that right now, that is progress, my friend. I'm sure the new career or new job is going to take more of your time. There's maybe a little bit of a learning curve, possibly, and the fact that you get to start fresh and be a single man, this is going to be good for you. Leandra, there's nothing wrong with expectations. However, there's nothing wrong with expectation. However, the more you expect can lead to disappointment if not achieved. Don't expect, just let it be. I think in a relationship, there's certain expectations though. Like I would say, getting drunk and flirting with my friends, I would expect you not to do that. You know what I mean? Like, what else? I've never had this happen before, but like someone that just doesn't want to work, or like I've had friends that are like, oh, she just wants to stay home and have me take care of her. An expectation in my relationship would be like, yeah, you don't need to make $1 million, but I'd like you to have a job. Don't be that guy. What do you mean, the guy? Like, have you guys ever had that happen? I've had a girlfriend like that before. When she gets drunk, she flirts with your friends. She hasn't crossed the line, but that shit's embarrassing as fuck. You're like sitting around, your friends are like, oh shit, she's drunk, dude. Like a friend's like, how long you guys been together? Jesse's like, I've met some of those. Jesse's like, I flirt with them. Oh man, and you know what's funny about that is, like, someone was talking about this recently, that um, it's like he had he had a friend of ours, ex, like a fresh ex, like for it's only been a month or 2 months, and he was like, "Would you hook up with someone's ex girlfriend?" I'm like, "I never have. I think there's too many fish in the sea, whatever you want to call it." I'm like, "No interest." And I'm one of those like, if I hang out with another buddy and his girlfriend, I don't do any little innuendos. I joke around, stuff like that. But if I feel any kind of like uh, overly playful games, I just abort. I've seen in my job when guys go away, wives cheating for months on end. Well, that's a different case. You know what's hard about that, Jesse? Um, is like you tell the guy and then he doesn't believe you and then they kill the messenger. I've seen that before. That's why you just sometimes you got to stay out of that shit unless someone asks you. Unless it's like a best friend, and I'm not one of those. I mean, I got a lot of friends. I got a lot of close friends. Um, and then now doing breakup coaching, the people that I do live coaching with, you could hit me up like 2 years later, and I'll be like, "What's up?" Da, 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 da. I'm like, "I'll remember you." I've had a couple people come out to Phuket. I didn't invite them. They're like, "I'm coming out to Thailand anyway. I don't want to be imposing. I just wanted to fucking see if you want to get lunch or something." I said, "Fuck yeah, man. We're getting lunch." Um, but going back to that, like a really fucking good friend of mine or something like that, I'm like, because they're gonna listen to me. You know what I mean? I'm like, "Look, dude, I've only had one situation where I was like, it was his ex girlfriend, but he was still seeing her. He's putting in work, and she was seeing someone else. He had no clue. I'm like, I got to tell you, dude, because I found out that information. It wasn't like hearsay. It was like real. And he was crushed, but he always remembered that. Thanks for telling me that, dude. And so I knew he wasn't going to think that I was trying to salt things up for him. Oh yeah, Philip. No way. No way, dude. A dick cousin? I've never heard that. I would never intentionally become a dick cousin with any of my pros. I don't even know what that means. I have not been in the position of telling someone, but I have picked up on that something ain't right. Yeah, well, you don't want. That's one of those things you want to know for sure. I was in a situation where I was seeing this girl. She was really good friends with my. So it was, it was good intel. She was really good friends with my friend's ex, who he was seeing, and basically she was like, "Oh, she's been hooking up with so and so." I'm like, "All right." I told him immediately. And there was other people in our friends circle that was like, "Oh, I didn't want to get involved." He was hurt, but I was like I said, that was a good friend of mine. Someone that's a casual acquaintance, they might be like, "Oh," because there's some women out there and men that'll just lie and be like, "Oh, well, your friend's lying." Sleeping with any of their exes, yeah. I've never slept with a friend's ex. No, I've never even come close to that. I've never even come close to that. No interest in it. Been a while, Azam. How you been? That was a good song by, was it Stain? It's been a while. Yeah, dude, I got the Instagram up. I know Azam was telling me like you got to get that on deck. I got it on deck. I don't even know Azam. Are you on my Instagram? Maybe you have another different name or something. Coach Mac McCarthy. I'm gonna have a few more females on the show too. We're gonna do that up. Chanchita, are you on my Instagram? You said you want to come out to Thailand, huh? I hope it opens. People are. I mean, I don't even know what's going to go forward with all this stuff that's going on. Instagram is great for getting your name out there. Yeah, I mean, it's a picture thing, right? Okay, cool. Right on, Azam. I mean, it's not one of the. It's like not one of those things. Hey, man, are you following me? Are you following? How many followers do you have? It's funny because a few years back, I was visiting back home, and I always hang out with my niece, and she's 25 now, 25 or 24. So they were in Instagram. I think she had like 900 or 1,000 followers or something like that. And so some of our friends were around. I was just teasing them. I'm like, so how many followers do you have on Instagram? Like first question, like, oh yeah, where do you work at? How many followers do you have on Instagram? And they'd be like, what? Like 300? I'd be like, oh. And I'd say my niece's name. She has 900. My niece would be like, stop doing that. X just tagged me, what's up? It's worth even bother to reply or nah? You got an interesting situation, Chanchito. I mean, you can carry on the way you're going and be casual and kind of like lay that on ice so that it's available because the thing is with Chan, I'm not going to share your whole breakup because we do private video, so you don't want everything shared. He does private video response, which is, if any of you guys don't want to share your story and you don't want to do a session, do the private video response. Send me your story, write it out well with questions like Chanchito does. Write your questions and I'll answer it within 48 hours. And I think you've done that like 4 times. It works well. For you, like I said, you don't have a lot of other stuff going on. It's not because you're not, it's because of your situation, your timing, and your circumstances. So you would keep that on ice and keep talking. His situation, everyone doesn't know his exact situation. I don't think he wants to share it. But you can keep that going, but you have to remove the idea that you're together, you're official. And then you can, because you have a finish line. You're moving somewhere where you might be able to reunite in, 2.5 months, right? So if you have the ability to be more casual with her and not give a fuck completely, fine. But if you don't have that ability and she's like, oh, I'm out partying with friends, and it just fucking eats you up for 3 or 4 days, then you just got to drop like, hey, we're not in contact. Maybe we can revisit things when I move. That's taking the frame. I don't think she's playing games with you. I think she has a high interest in you. I think she likes you based on what you told me. I think she said she loves you, but that's not gonna, the idea of what got me is when you say you're improving, you're doing all these things, and you're like, actually, I'm looking at her and I'm like, damn, you're just a party, you're just a party animal, like you're just in the party and things like that, which is maybe how you met, but I've always had this, like, I don't really party that hard now, at all. But I like to have a beer and I like to socialize with friends or something like that. I like, do things and stuff like that. Not all the time. I'm definitely less than I used to. But I'll tell you this: I don't want a girlfriend that's a party animal. I don't want a girlfriend that goes out every weekend and gets hammered and goes out late at night. Not my girl. That's just me. Oh, what's wrong? I'm just saying. I could be attracted to a woman like that. She wants a safety net. Let her earn your attention. Like I said, he's got kind of a unique situation. If I unpacked it, you would understand a little bit more. That's why your story counts, right? He's got a unique situation. It really does. It's not just cut and dry. They broke up. But like I told you, dude, like you're the type when you move where you're moving to, there's going to be a lot more options than where you're at now. I don't know that much about where you live now, but it just sounds like, that's going to be a lot different. Let's see here. Anyone else want to share what progress you have made since your breakup or a breakup in your past? Like something that you were like, you know what? I'll tell you the truth. Out of all my breakups, I think one of the things that's overlooked, I haven't had that many, I've had 4. Is I've never settled. Like I've never been like, oh, you know what? I'm just lonely. I think I've always had a girlfriend to my values that I'm proud to be with, that I think's a good catch. And so sometimes when you break up, you're like, I'm never gonna meet another one like this. Well, not in a day. Not in a day. I've had the girlfriends I've been with, all of them have been good. All of them have been good in their own way, and I would even say for what I'm looking for each time, or what I value, I would say each one was an upgrade. Slatterly women throw up the worst red flags. What's slatterly mean? I don't even know that word. Slatterly? Shit. I remember I was seeing someone years ago, and she told me that she slept with a guy from the same gym I went to. It came out in a conversation. I was done with there and then. Well, I mean, did she sleep with the guy before you were together though? It does bother you when you know the person. I will say this: the older I get, the less I care about that. But yeah, it's something I don't know if it's the grounds to break up. It's individually based. It would be much different. The funny thing is I know Jesse from live coaching and shit. I just know his personality. I just think that's funny. You don't want to be Eskimo brothers, right? Moo. Sloppy, drunk, loud, slatterly women, huh? Yeah, I mean, I don't mind if a girlfriend gets drunk once in a while, but there are ones that tend to, have certain personality traits when they're drunk, like sit on guys' laps and do shit like that, where you're like, yeah, that's a no-no. But sloppy drunk is like the most embarrassing thing. It's like you're looking around, you're like, and you know what? I've been drunk before. I've been drunk before in my life. I like to think that I'm not a sloppy drunk. Uh, Actually, I know I'm not. I know I'm not. I like to talk when I drink, and I like to have a good time. But if I get to a certain level, I'm the opposite. I usually want to go home. I'm tired, and I usually want to eat before. So it's like some people that are sloppy, they just keep going. And I'll tell you the big one: shots. Let's get shots. It's like, why do I want to get destroyed in 1 hour and be all over the place? They act annoying majority of the times. If she slept with him and wants a relationship from you, it doesn't work for me. I'm just wondering, like, what was the time frame that she hooked up with the guy from the gym prior to you, Jesse? That would be my question. I'll tell you what's a positive in all that, Jesse. She was local. Then she said she had the cheeky. Then she had the cheeky to send me a text message from the hospital, and she was sexually transmitted disease free. I don't know if that's cheeky or that's just trying to say, hey, if this is what you were worried about, because sometimes that's what the guy's worried about. If that was her way of like being like, well, I mean, what are you worried about? Is that the number one thing you're worried about, or is it ego? Because someone that says it's an STD worry, okay. If someone just says, I can't believe you did that, and she's like, it didn't mean anything to me, it's ego. Azam, it's always a pleasure to have you back on deck. Azam writes, it's not the STD, it's the other penis. This was years ago, dude. Seriously. I think it's funny though. Like I said, because I know, like I said, we've done a few live coaching, so I know you, so I get a kick out of it, hearing it from you. But that's one of those things where someone's like, oh no, you can't. It's up to you, man. And different times and different places in your life, you can accept that or don't accept it. I think the hardest thing is when you have a friend that's been up in there. I've had that happen. And it was years prior to when it was my girlfriend, but I didn't like it. I hung out with that friend way less, and it was friction. And my friend had a sneaky smile about it too, and he was a good friend. He was a good friend, but it bothered me for sure. If I can see the dude, no thanks. If I can see him or know him, it's not even an option to date them. Oh God. The reality is though, like how many times have you been with your girlfriend? Right? Think about this for a minute. Uh, how many times have you been with your girlfriend and you ran into a girl that you've hooked up with intimately and you just played it off? How many times have you had that happen? Um, you can share a few more of the story. Oh yeah, it's worse for guys. It's worse for guys, for sure. Chanchito, if you want me to share more, I can share more. These guys are going to give their take though, so I don't know if you want, like I said, you like having a private thing. I just want to let you know that's the deal. I don't want to, you know what I mean? I don't know what you want to share, bro. I just got my IG code. Right on, bro. Uh, there's nothing wrong with expectations. However, the more you expect it, okay. So I got my own back on her. So New Year's Eve, I had a date lined up and sent her a picture of me and the woman saying, "Wonder where this will go tonight." She went mental. So I got my own back on her. That's dirty. Thank you for everything you have done with me and my family. I've made the decision to start something new in my future. I understand that you must move on with yours also. That was her response to my text. Philip, what's the alternative? What's the alternative, bud? You got a new job, you got a new start, you got a new journey. It's going to take some time. I just got my IG coach. But hang in there. You're going to get through this. It's going to be tough, but that's definitive, that response. That's definitive. That's clarity. If she contacts you in 2 or 3 weeks, I would stay strong. Time to move on. Yeah, I'm just saying that like everyone could be like, oh yeah, like fuck her, or like, oh yeah, you just move on, grab your ball. Like I know you've been with her for a while. I know your situation. We did some live coaching together. And Philip's a tough dude. He's not a weak ass dude. He's not in any way. He's got a unique situation like everyone's breakup. And this has just happened. It just happened. That's if you want my full compassion, let me first hear your whole story. It's like these people that just throw in these fucking, hey, me and my ex broke up last week and I went no contact. Should I block them? It's like, dude, certain people tend to send those messages too all the time. And all they want is like, let me just grab some free advice. Let me just grab, I'm on live stream. I'm here to help people, but I can't, I'm not a fucking genie, you know? Um, It's like, yeah, I got to know your story. It's like, Philip, now I know your story. I know what you're going through. Now, Philip's right at ground zero with the breakup. So he's got to start right now, and it's gonna be one step at a time. And when you tell me that message, I'm like, dude, I know everyone from the outside. Oh yeah, it's curtains, it's done. Yeah, it is for the time being. But that's your clarity and whatnot. But Philip, you're gonna be okay. You're a strong, confident individual. You don't have trouble getting women. It's gonna take some time though. Like you said, we'll talk again. We'll unpack some things. That's what I do. I help people out by listening, being there for you, and re-guiding the ship. In other words, like, hey, dude, you're doing the right thing, or hey, you sure you want to do that? My personal growth from most recent breakup woke me. I gained a lot of perspective. It was humbling but positive up to today. 6 months since breakup. What do you mean up to today? Something changed today? Mac, nice lady we spoke about recently. It's picked up. Well, I'm not surprised, dude. She was cute. She was cute. That picture you showed me. She's pretty. Um, Jesse. Please keep your options open and try to get something local. Absolute best thing to do, get back at an ex, just glow up. I'm thinking you're saying grow up, improve yourself, date new women, build up your status. They'll be back missing what they threw away. Here's the thing, people be like, oh, they always come back. I've had women in the comments like, my exes always come back. What does that mean? Doesn't mean the problem was fixed. Doesn't mean like, when you break up, there was a problem or problems. So when your ex comes back, it could be desperation, it could be pity, it could be loneliness, it could be a lack of intimacy. It doesn't mean you just get back together because you're going to be rose petals and wine glasses like the get go, right? Oh, they always come back to me. Really? They don't always come back no matter what. Like people go, oh, if I do this, this, and this, they don't always come back. I don't want anyone to cling to that. And if they do, you probably don't want them back. At your best, what is there, 3 billion women in the world? Show them that you can live life as happy without them. Just focus on you 8 months and you will be solid. 99% they failed in a relationship. Thing is, too, it's like, people always have to go, should I go on a date? Should I do dating? I mean, if you have an opportunity that someone's interested or you're interested in someone else, hell yeah. And don't go with any expectations. Go on a shitty date. Like, oh, I'm not in the mood. I'm not this, but she's cute. Go out with her. Oh, she's got a cool personality. Go out with her. Go out with him. Go out. If it doesn't go well, be done. My exes always contact me after I ghost, but never reheat leftovers. Ooh, I like that line. I like that line. Rollo Tomasi in the Rational Male goes, what does he say? Don't go through the trash when you've already put it out on the curb. I'm actually working on a book review channel. I'm going to start a new YouTube channel. If you're hungry, why not? And one of the ones that's going to be the first one will be the Rational Male. It's going to be similar to like 1% Better or Fighting Mediocrity. I don't know if you guys seen those animated book reviews. I got someone to do the animation. I'm going to do the voiceover. It's going to be good. It's going to be really good. Because I like the idea. I like to recommend books to a lot of people. So I want to have some quick hitters. Absolutely agree, Mac. Yeah, options are open, of course. Got a few numbers as well. Yeah, Jesse, you're the type, dude. You got a lot going for you. That's why what always gets me when I talk to you, it's like you get these women that are catches and whatnot, but they're all long distance. You're like, I'm okay with that. Don't be okay with it. You're neglecting yourself because you're capable of meeting a good one locally. So when you give a piece of yourself to a long distance relationship from the get go, the standard's been set. If you kind of keep a long distance relationship casual and don't have a lot into it, it's like, let me give you this example. I've been thinking about this. Azam, I'm glad you're on because you probably will disagree, which is a good thing because I like to have a little sauce in the live stream. If you're in a long distance relationship and this might apply to you, Chanchito. Sorry if I said your name wrong. Chanchito. I always think it's Chico because that's the name of the city my parents live in. If you're in a long distance relationship, but you're broken up or you leave options open, but you stay in contact, but you're casual, but you're still dating people in your town, you don't have so much pressure, right? The number one reason people can't get over their ex after like 9 or 10 months is because they haven't met someone else. The first 3 or 4 months, depending on how long you're together, there is a stage where you got to feel that shit. You got to go through it, right? You got to exercise more. You got to feel things out. You got to go through it. But it's like the idea, I can never be friends with a woman. I can be friends with a woman. You know why? Because I'm seeing other women. Think about that for a minute. If that friend is the only interaction I have with a female, it's going to be like, oh my God. Like, it's like we lived in a city with a population of 50, right? We lived in some country hick cowboy town from the 1800s. then it would be like, oh my God, I don't want Sally to just be my friend. I only have one option here. It's like you can be friends with a woman as long as you got other things going on with other women. You got other shows going on. Why not? I mean, that's a decoy. No alternative. Um, if LDR started out as close distant relationships, yes, they are. They just have a shelf life. They just have a shelf life. They need a finish line. I've known people that they work, but they need a finish line. They also need to be extremely conservative people, dependable. I've witnessed it as a teacher. There was a fellow teacher of mine, ultra conservative. I think she was in a long distance relationship with this guy for like 2 years. Other dude was very conservative. When I mean conservative, I'm like, this guy's not going to cheat. And what do I know? Anyone could. He would come to visit like once every 2 months. And when they were together, it was rose petal wine glasses. They talked together on the phone every night. He obviously didn't have a lot going on for himself in his hometown, which is up to him. And they ended up marrying after like a year and a half or 2 years. And so they can work. They can work. Philip, you probably will hear from her again. Yes. But I would say at this point, like I said, what's the alternative? No alternative. It's time to move forward. But like I said, that's easy for me to say. Okay. Like I said, I'll be here for you. It's gonna take some time, bud. It's gonna take some time, and this is gonna be the tough time. But you've gotten through worse, you've gotten through bad stuff, and you'll get through this. I don't do friends with women because women have only boyfriends and girlfriends. Well, that's it. I know that you're like that. I'm just saying that I can have a woman as a friend, and I'm saying I can do that because I'm not focused on her as an individual, right? And I told you this before. It depends on where you work and what you do for a living too. My father was a truck driver. He was an ex-marine in Vietnam. My dad didn't have any friends that were women, right? My dad's friendly with women. He's not an asshole. He's respectful. But through that kind of job, my mother worked for a dentist for years, two different dentists. They were males. They would take you out to lunch or have you over for Christmas dinner and have different things. They would be considered a friend. If you ain't first, you are second. Hey, dude. I mean, how many times are you gonna get first? I don't do friends with women. Expired date would say 4.5 hours in LDR. That's not a stupid question. You will probably hear from her, but not just focus on you. Right on, Chanchito. I'm glad you were able to join today. Anything more than 45 minutes is borderline LDR. No way. Not in California. People live on the road over there. Kill me. I'm the messenger. Message of honesty. That's funny. We got an hour and 18 minutes. I'm glad I set up this schedule. This is good because, in the beginning I was like, oh, I don't like doing it at night. It's not my time, but I'm glad we get different people on deck, give different people an opportunity. Any closing questions here? Anyone else want to share a story of progress or a situation when you look back on a breakup? Philip, you've had a breakup before this one. Did you not see that you were going to make progress out of that breakup, and now you look back and you go, no regrets? I look back and I'm like, damn. Because they all hurt at ground zero. The only ones that don't hurt, from what I hear, and I haven't been in those situations, are ones that have been mediocre and bad for a long time, and they're usually married couples. People are like, oh, we were married 20 years. Oh, we were married 15. And they're like, oh, I had no problem with that. We were done 5 years ago. We were just roommates. It's like, damn. I've heard that many times. The reality that you do, if you had a good relationship, that's what that, and a lot of times some breakups, what hurts about it, I think in your situation, Philip, is true. When you're good, when you have a lot of good in your relationship, when you're like, damn, they can't see it. That's tough. That's a tough breakup. And you still love them, you still care about them, and you still see that you guys could be good together. But here's the reality: you were a part of that goodness. You were a part of it. You were a part of it. And so your relationships are a reflection of you. It's like you always look at it like they did that, they did this, they did this whole narrative in the news, everywhere. Hey, one of my favorite questions is when people go they, I go, who's they? Oh, they all think this. They said this. Who's they? People get fucking really fucked up when you say, who's they? It's like, who are you speaking for? Or they say we. It's like, who are you speaking for? Ask that question of people. When you look at your relationship and you look at what you're willing to accept and not accept, at the end of the day, your power is your power. At the end of the day, if you had a good relationship, you're like, damn, we were really good together. That was great. It was magic. You're a part of that. Someone else will see that. Les Brown says, you are living with that person or dying with them. And that's fucking powerful. I know who Les Brown is. I don't know him, but I've seen some of his motivational speeches and shit. He's good. I like stuff like that. I think Alan Watts has to be one of the greatest modern speaker philosophers. You hear that guy speak, it's fucking epic. I'll leave you guys with one. Go to YouTube and listen to Charles Bukowski's Going All the Way. Listen to that. There's a version of that with an audio and a music. Ooh, that's powerful. Going all the way. Or going all in. Am I getting that wrong? Powerful, powerful one. It's not Charles's voice either, because he has a different voice. It's a different one. Any closing questions, folks? Okay, folks, if you want to join the Instagram, go to Coach Mac McCarthy. If you want to go to writemac.com I'm okay, moving forward. Right on, Philip. Right on, bud. You're going to be okay. If you want to go to writemac.com to book a live coaching session, go there. If you have a problem with it, which Chanchito told me, let me know. Please email me about that. It's a work in progress. Been a little frustrated, but frustration means progress sometimes. It means you're actually working at something. So I got to remind myself of that. I told people this all the time. I'm like, when I have problems in my own life, it's like, what are you going to do, coach? Huh? It's like, you're going to take your own fucking advice. Got to coach yourself sometimes, You got to check yourself sometimes. Any closing questions? We got 10 on deck, 6 likes. 10 on deck. No? We got crickets. Friday night. What did I put it on? Let's see what we got here. Pull it up. Friday night. Listen to your intuition. Can intuition be wrong? I think a lot of people, I'll speak soon, but all right, right on. People a lot of times, just trust your intuition. Intuition can be wrong, actually. Sometimes you believe what you want to believe, which isn't always good. All right, folks. It's been good. It's been grand. It's been wonderful. Thank you so kindly. I learned to forgive myself. Kimberly Lusby, the best way to forgive yourself is to say it. That's a really powerful thing. Thanks for sharing that, because I tell people I have that in coaching sometimes. I just go, I want you to do this before you go to bed tonight. I know you might say it's cheesy or something. I forgive myself. I'm doing the best I can. A lot of times, people with the knowledge they have and the life experience they have are doing the best they can. I look at my parents, or I look at my dad who had alcohol problems, some issues. He wasn't always the greatest. And I'm like, he was doing the best he could. He's not a bad person. And learn to forgive yourself and maybe learn to forgive some of those around you. Thanks for sharing that, Kimberly. All right, I'll be back on.